evening and welcome to Transit. I'm Tammy Odontiadis. My guest for tonight is Mr. Ed Bright, who's the long-serving secretary of the Melbourne Transit Band and one of the band members, of course, and he plays the trombone. Is that correct, Ed?
That's correct, Tammy, yes. Thanks for having me along.
Welcome to the program. Now, tell us a little bit about the band. How did it get formed, or when did it get formed, and how did it come about?
The band was formed 1938-39 within the ranks of the Melbourne Metropolitan Tramways Board, as it was then, by tramway employees. I think it was under the auspices of the Tramway Athletics Society, really. It started off as a subsection of that and then broke away on its own. I think they took about 12 months to form the band, just chasing players up from around the varying tramway depots. And I think they had their first rehearsal in February 1939. And that makes the band nearly 60 years old.
That's a long track record, isn't it?
Yes, I don't remember back then, but up until recently we've only just lost our last foundation member who died back in December, but we do have other members who go back quite a way, back 1950, I think.
Is that a reasonable track record for a brass band of this nature?
Oh, I believe there'd be very few bands that have the retention of players that we do. Yes, you always have players come and go, but we've got a central core that have been in the band, have never played anywhere else but in this band, so we're pretty proud of that.
How long have you been serving in the band?
24 years, just on 24 years since I joined the band, back in 1974.
And what's the makeup of the band today? Is it they're not all tram drivers?
No, that's certainly a popular fallacy. Back when the band was formed, the bulk of the players were tramway employees. That was the core of it, although I don't believe it ever had a full band of tramway employees. They just didn't have the right mix of players, and they had helpers from another band, particularly the Hawthorn Band, because the first musical director was also the MD of the Hawthorn Band, and so he'd bring players in to help out. But over the years, I think there's less and less, brass playing players in the tramways. If you like, it's been a bit of a change in the mix there. And we're down to the stage now. We've got a couple of serving employees. We've maybe got half a dozen retired employees, but the rest of us have come from all walks of life or areas of employment. We've got patent attorney, barrister, managing director. We've got a couple of people who own their own companies, teachers, students, administrative people. Quite a range.
It's nice to see people getting behind it, though. Can you tell me a bit about the type of music?
Well, the band, over the years, like most bands, we've had quite an input into the contesting field. I think generally brass bands, amateur brass bands, community brass band, or the same thing, are very keen on competing. They see that as a way to improve their playing at all times. So we've done a fair bit of that over the years.
As I can see back here, it's very impressive.
Yes, that's most of the recent trophies. A lot of the older ones, we don't know where they went. I think they went into the old Tramways Board and were on display there, and we never saw them again. But most of those are fairly recent. But the band isn't competing these days. We had to make a decision a few years ago on where our priorities lay, and really getting out and entertaining the public we think is more important than contesting. We'd like to do both, but we have a very large commitment to our Wattle Park recitals.
Are they the main concerts that you do at Wattle Park?
Well, they're the most regular things, so over the years they're the main things. It mightn't be the main thing in any given year, but the band does 8 monthly concerts a year at Wattle Park, and we just started our 59th annual recital season only a week ago.
It's something that I think even the newer generation, the younger generation, would like to just show to their children, something of the past. And it's still, I think it's something that I'd really like to pass on to my children, about having an enjoyable Sunday afternoon in the park with the music and just relaxing. And it's a different type of music, so they can appreciate a wide variety, not just what's going on the radio, so to speak.
No, that's right. Yeah. Actually, with our recitals out there, we set a monthly theme, if you like, which doesn't tie us down completely, but we do like to give a feeling to people as to what's coming up for the next month, so they say, oh, I don't want to miss that.
Right.
But you can't make it so strict that people say, well, I don't like that, so I won't come. There's always a bit for everybody, but our next concert is called Continental Confections, so we'll have a lot of European music in that. The concert after that is called The Colour of Swing.
Oh.
And then come to December, you're talking about the Christmas feel and a bit of an Australia Day feel in January, and then so it goes on. We try and make it a bit interesting.
Something about the stage band. Is that a separate band altogether?
Oh, not a separate band altogether. It's under the umbrella of the Melbourne Tramways Band organisation. We call the stage band Transition. It's really kicked off as a proper stage band about 12 months ago. A few years back, the band's always loved playing big band music as a brass band, but it's very hard to get arrangements. And we thought the one way out of getting arrangements was to get stage band arrangements in and play them. But then you've got euphoniums, tenor horns playing saxophone parts, and they're very limited. So we went the step beyond that and brought in saxophone players and a full rhythm section. So our stage band is just like a typical big band of the 40s with a full Glenn Miller layout, if you like, and we like to specialise in that music of the 40s. The stage band, the aim is to be as professional as we can and try and get regular engagements, perhaps in RSLs or other places like that would love to have a big band there, but can't really afford to get a fully professional outfit in. So we see a big future there, and we're working very hard to just to get the full repertoire up, and that's a great buzz for us.
You saw me standing alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own.
Mentioned to me that the band had gone overseas earlier this year. How did that go?
Oh, that was terrific, Tammy. Yes, the band went over to Thailand. We went as part of an Australian pilgrimage of returned servicemen who'd been to Thailand or working on the Thai-Burma Railway during the Second World War. They had generations ago. They had the original diggers themselves and their families, and those younger members who their grandfathers or whoever mightn't be alive now, but there was a very large group of people went over there. We went over as part of that tour, raised our own money to get there. The focus of it really was to be available and there to play for the opening of the new museum at Hellfire Pass, which was opened by the Prime Minister on 24th of April, just the day before Anzac Day. And by being there at the right time, we were invited to play for the opening of the museum, which was really something. We performed there in about 45 degrees in the shade. It was very, very hot, and but all the 1,500 Australians there, they all applauded wildly to see us there. So we opened that up on Anzac Eve. On Anzac Day morning, we had a small group from our band, and 10 play at the dawn service on Anzac Day at Hellfire Pass, which was very, very moving for all of us there. The Prime Minister was there and did the reading for that. Later that morning we played at the large service at Kanchanaburi, where all the Australians who died up there are all interred. That was the administrative headquarters for the Japanese on the edge of the railway there. We did a lunchtime concert that same day for the diggers, so it was a very hectic period. But prior to that, we had we'd done concerts for the diggers that were over there using both the brass band and the stage band.
So you really got your money's worth on that trip?
Oh, it was very, very solid, particularly over the last few days. We were there for just over 2 weeks, and none of us will ever forget, particularly that moment at Hellfire Pass.
Well, thank you very much, Ed, for being with us this evening.
Thank you, Tammy. Thanks for having me along.
And I hope that and believe that the band will continue in the future.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. It's our job on the current committee to see that in 60 years' time there's still a band here again.
Fantastic. Thanks, everyone, for being with us. Good night.